Sincero is a best-selling author, speaker, and motivational cattle prod who has helped countless people transform their personal and professional lives via her public appearances, newsletters, products, and books, including her latest, You Are a Badass.
Thank you.
How to stop doubting your greatness and start living an awesome life. She has spoken on stages all over the world and has coached full-on superheroes like all of you. She helped her clients build a dream business. She became a New York Times best-selling author and told me last night it just hit number 11 on the New York Times bestseller list. Number 11! Top 10. She helps people find their soulmates, forgive their bitchy mothers so they now realize they're now doing their best. She has other books, such as the autobiographical novel, Don't Sleep With Your Drummer, and the national bestseller, A Straight Girl's Guide to Sleeping with Chicks. You need to check out her website, Sincero.com. Interesting facts about her. She does not own a TV. She has been on the Howard Stern show. She's been featured in Cosmo. She's been on Comedy Central. And one of the things that she has on her site that I really liked a lot was, will teach us to be you ×2. So basically what she's saying is, you're going to be twice the person that you were after dealing with her. And I met her last night at the airport. She was so stoked because Street Fighting just exploded on the scene with her. I told her that she's a rock star with us. I'm going to bring her up on stage. We're going to do a picture of her with everybody here. So let's give it up for Jen Sincero.
Design lives that we love to live and take naps in the middle of the day if you want to. Have clothing optional work days. Stuff like that. And you know, they say that if you want to take the best self-development course ever, become an entrepreneur. Because every damn day you are forced to face your fears and push yourselves and leap into the unknown and humiliate yourself and do all that good stuff that I write about in my book on a regular basis. I mean, you got it. You don't just show up and have someone tell you what to do. So, A+ guys, like, it's so much fun, right? Really. At the end of the day, that's really what it's all about, is creating your own reality. So it really does start at work, I think. And so, you know, I really believe that anybody can do this, and I really believe that each and every one of you is a big old badass. That every single person has a badass inside of them. Some of us have let that beast out of the cage more than others, but it doesn't matter where you are in the spectrum, you got it. And why you are here on Earth is to release this badass, right? And so that's why I call my book You Are a Badass, because I truly believe every single person has that. It's not like Bob the mechanic is going to go to the bookstore and be like, oh, look at that. And they're like, no, not you, sorry. Everybody but you. Everybody is badass. So, today I'm hopefully going to give you 5 tools that will help you bring this badass out in a bigger and better way than you already are now. And the good news is they're really easy. I really like the simplicity with all this stuff. We tend to make a big drama out of it because we're into that, but it doesn't need to be hard. So, and if I can do it, you sure as hell can. And I'm still doing it, you know, it's an ongoing process. So, while I was thinking of what I was going to talk about, I knew I was going to talk about these 5 tools, but I also wanted to make the talk entertaining, not to just stand up there and scream at you about being all you can be. And so I was trying to come up with some stories to tell and some jokes, and I wasn't coming up with a goddamn thing. And to be perfectly honest with you, I am one of those people who works really well under pressure, aka I put every single thing off until the very last minute. But it works well for me, so, and I always think, oh, I can pull it off, that's how I am, I've written all my books in 10 minutes, yada yada. But this talk was coming up, and the pressure was on, and I had nothing, and I was like, holy crap, what am I gonna do? Pressure, freaking out. And so I did what I always do when I'm just like, I have no time left, and the pressure is so serious. I went online shopping. Because not only is it like the greatest distraction ever, right? I'm really good at it. So I was like, I may be sucking right now at coming up with stories and jokes, but shoes, bam, done. Right? They're on the way. Free shipping. 2 colors. Done. But with this particular round of online shopping, I was getting nowhere. I wasn't finding anything, and it's because I wasn't shopping for myself. I was shopping for my dad, who is turning 90 this year. Right? How is that impossible? So he's turning 90, and I want to get him something really good. And he's not an easy guy to shop for. You know, he's this old Italian man from Italy. Came here when he was 25. And so, you know, at least when he was young, I could get him things like tennis balls, because that's what you get dad. He likes to play tennis, and now he can't even really stand up that well, so tennis balls are out. And so I'm looking at robes with like world's best dad on them, and I cannot find anything. And then I'm thinking, you know, what the guy really wants is a meatball sandwich. Or a wedding announcement from me. Like, those kinds of things he really cares about. But anyway, so I'm failing at finding dad again. I'm still, you know, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I still have nothing to open this talk with. And I'm panicking, and all of a sudden it just explodes open into this beautiful, beautiful idea, and knowing how to open my show, I came up with the best idea. I'm going to make fun of my dad. It was such a relief. And so, but I'm going to make fun of him in a way because he says such brilliant things all the time, and you know, when you get old, you get to know a few things under your belt, right? The guy's 90s and a lot of stuff. So, one of the things that my dad is, the older he gets, the more Italian he gets. And he's gotten hairier, he's more stubborn about eating only Italian food, and his accent is impossible now. Like, you think he'd get more Americanized, and the accent is thicker and thicker and thicker to the point where we really can never talk about him without trying to imitate it. So, the thing that I want to start off the talk with, and he told me that has really sort of captured how my personal transformation started was, it's like, you know, lover, he calls all his lover, all of his kids lover. Which we're just going to chop off to his loose scraps of the English language, so we don't have to see the on that time. But it's like, lover, you know what I mean? I don't know if you're older and wiser, or older and just retired. And so that's how it was for me. You know, I had a life that was pretty good. You know, I was in a band, and I had a lot of good friends, I had a great boyfriend, I was traveling a little bit, but I just felt like, dude, come on. I could have been doing so much more with my life, and I knew it. You know? It's kind of like when you're binging on television or something, and it's kind of fun, it's okay, but you feel so slimed afterwards. That's what I felt about my life. Like, it's kind of fun in the moment, but I was in for much bigger things. And I was being such a baby about it, and I was complaining, and I just fell through the floor. And I was complaining, because, you know, I just wasn't doing it. I was seeing all these other people out there rocking it, singing, 10 fingers, 10 toes, just like me, what the hell did they have that I didn't have? And that was it for me. I was over it. I was done. And so I employed the superhuman power that each and every single one of us has in order to turn my life around. Do you guys know what this power is that we all have as human beings that other animals don't have? Conscious choice. I made the conscious choice to get over my shit and start doing whatever it took to let my badass out of the cage. So tonight I'm going to give you 5 tools, 5 ways to employ your conscious choice, your given right as a human being to create whatever it is that you desire in your life. Okay? And I want to start off by saying that word desire is large. Because desire literally means of the Father. Not necessarily my Father, but the Father. And I don't care what your religious beliefs are, but it's basically of the universe. It's the desire. Your desires were given to you for a purpose. And your job on this earth is to let them run through you as you and express them as the unique, beautiful being that you are. So you guys all have a desire to have your own businesses, to help other people stay in shape, to help them transform their lives, but each single one of you is going to do it in your own beautiful way because you are you and you are unique. So your desire to change someone's life might express itself in a different way than hers does. And you will go about it in different ways and create different things, but it's all about connecting with this desire and allowing it to be. That's the job on this earth. Now, how do we do that? The first choice is about making a choice to make a decision. A decision is just a choice, right, guys? Like, I know every single one of you in this room who's made a choice and made a decision to go do something that might have been bananas or impossible or totally terrifying, but you did at least once in your life, right? You can think about something you did, it was just like, so, and it was a choice that you made. So, what does it take? You know, think about the decision that you made. Does everybody have an idea of something that's totally scary, like having a baby or getting married or something you had absolutely no idea where it was leading or what was going to happen with it? Pretty cool stuff, right? So if you've done it once, you can totally do it again. You just have to face the fears about it. So there are 2 main kinds of fears that we all come up against when we're making a decision. The first is the fear that we're not good enough. The first is the fear that we're not good enough, that we're going to be abandoned or made fun of, or that we really just don't have what it takes. And the second fear is the fear that what we want is not available to us. That for some reason, even though we see it out in the world for other people, just for us it's not available, and we can't deal with that disappointment or that pain. That it's just going to be too much. And meanwhile, in trying to protect ourselves from that disappointment and that pain, we create the disappointment and pain by not letting ourselves out in the first place, right? It's really kind of interesting how we do that. So it really is about making this decision and going for it full throttle. And there are 2 pieces to making the decision. One is creating the urgency, and the other is having the tenacity about it. So urgency. There's no problem creating urgency when, you know, rent is due and you don't have the money. Like, you will freaking find that rent because you are not sitting on the sidewalk. There is no urgency about finding money if you need to have open heart surgery, right? You will find that damn money. You don't care if you have to make borrowers, so you will find it. But what about when you wake up the next day and make 10 sales calls and you don't feel like it? Where is the urgency there? How the hell do you get yourself excited about that, right? So the first thing is to understand that you is going to die. You is going to die. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that that's pretty much the only thing that we know for sure is going to happen because you're going to die, right? So getting that note in your head that is going to happen is very good to keep it close by to you. And also making sure that you understand that each choice that you make in that little itty moment isn't just about that choice, it's about who you become. So let's say making 10 sales calls. You don't feel like making them, but in that moment, if you remember this isn't just about the sales call. If I don't pick up that phone right now, if I decide to just like go take a nap instead of pick up that phone, it's not just about today, it's not just about me putting it up to tomorrow. Every single one of these little moments of choice add up to the entire reality of right now. So when you understand that the little moments of choice are so critical, it's not just about that moment. You become a different person. When you want to become the kind of person who gets 15 stars, is that what we're going for here, guys? Woo! Yeah, okay, 15 stars. Every choice you make to get there in that moment, you've got to stay with it. You keep that desire strong within you. You see yourself with those 15 stars and you make that choice, because then at the end of the day, you get to be the person who makes those sales calls. You're the kind of person who stays with their choices and takes them really seriously and grows and grows and grows and grows. So keeping that really close by is super important. And it all starts from the decision and the awareness to stay present and pay attention to your choices. Okay? So that is the decision. The second thing is to reconsider your reality. To make the choice about where you place your focus. So let's say that you have 19 children and you're $20,000 in debt. You hate your job and you live in a shoe. That's your reality. And you are constantly complaining about how tired you are and how many meals you have to feed and how much money is in your bank account. So that's one way that you can look at your reality. The other way you can look at your reality is be like, I got these 19 awesome people in my life that I created. My house is full of love and laughter. I have a job, which means somebody thought that I was good enough to pay some money to go do something. So if I got that job, I could probably go out and get another job. And when I needed that $20,000, it was there for me. So there must be another $20,000 out there for me, because if that one was there, certainly there could be more money available to me. And I live in a shoe. How cool is that? Who gets to say that? So it really is about your attitude and looking at things a different way. And I know, you guys, we're all steeped in self-helpery. You've heard all this before. But are you really doing it? Are you really taking a moment to take the breath and watch what you're doing every day in your life? And changing it, and making that choice to change it. So, right now, I want you to think of something that you complain about a lot. Or something that's just sort of like irritating to you. It just is in your life, and it's like, you can't see through it, you just lug it around like a rotting corpse with you all the time. And I want you to look at it differently. Okay? Alright, make that conscious decision right now. Okay. So then also there's, the third thing I want to talk about is owning your shit. Owning your shit. So in the looking at your reality a certain way, there's another reality that is probably the most frustrating and maddening of them all. Does anybody know what that is? The most frustrating and maddening thing on this universe to us? Other people. Yeah. Other people who don't do things the way we want to do them, and the other people we can't control and make little models of us after, right? So when dealing with other people, this reframing of how you look at things and how you take responsibility for things is very, very important. So other people are a mirror of us, right? That's what we've heard a million times. What the hell does that even mean, right? So we'll go back to dad here for a moment. So when I was growing up, I had a pretty good relationship with my dad. He was a nice guy, but he was never available. He came to this country and opened up a medical practice, and he was at work all the time. And so I never saw him. I quite frankly didn't really feel like he cared that much about what I was doing. I also deep down felt like he kind of couldn't handle me. You know, he's like from the old country, and I was this crazy, loud daughter who was in a band called Crotch, and I couldn't really let him see it, you know? I was honestly like, he's gonna go away forever if I show him who I am. And so this was way, way, way back before I started doing any type of personal development. But I somehow gained the almighty awareness that, you know what? I'm just gonna start treating him like anybody else in my life. Why am I treating my dad like the UPS guy? You know? It's really kind of polite and thank you for the package, like have a nice day. I wasn't really being myself around him because I didn't feel comfortable and I felt like I had to protect him from me. And so one day I decided I wasn't going to do that, and it was the day that I got back from Burning Man. Does anybody know what Burning Man is? Anybody been burners in the house? So anyway, if you don't know what it is, Burning Man is a festival in the desert outside of Reno, Nevada, where 60,000 freaks gather annually to build crazy structures and make art and dance and do tons of drugs and just be weirdos and wear costumes, and it's just this full-on bananas experience. It literally is like going through the looking glass and going to another planet while covered in mud or wearing a rabbit outfit or whatever your thing is. And so I tell Dad about this, and I'm explaining it to him, and he's listening to me, which is amazing. And I'm just talking about it with one of my friends and telling him everything, like the next week, he's like, brother, I looked up this mountain above me, and it looks pretty interesting. And it was, that was like, great, my dad's gonna come with me, but be careful what you ask for. But, it really opened up our relationship in a way that I was floored by. And I also realized that I was the one who made it. That as much as I thought he was being separate and distant and hard to connect with, I was totally doing the same damn thing. And so when you're connecting with other people, if you take the responsibility on yourself, and by the way, just because I changed my energy, he did, it doesn't necessarily guarantee that when you change yours, the other person will too. But all you can do is change your own energy. You cannot change other people's. And so, this whole thing with the energy, I'm gonna take you on a little cosmic ride now. This is sort of an out there concept, but I'm sure it's one you guys have all heard. This whole concept that we are all one. That I am you, you are I, that tree out there is me, we are all one energy in the universe. So what this means is, it's sort of like a hologram. Do you know what a hologram is? I thought I did. I thought it was like, when you buy a car with a hologram on it and you move it around and kind of shifts and it looks cool, that's what I thought it was. But if you have a hologram of your face, let's say, and you cut that hologram in half, both sides of that hologram are going to have the entire face on it. And then if you cut it again, it'll have the whole face. If you cut it into a million little fragments, each itty bitty little fragment has the entire face. It has the whole damn thing on it. Okay? That's us. We have every single thing in the universe in us. We are holograms, right? And everybody has their own unique desires and unique ways of bringing this forth. But we are all one and the same. So this is why when the lady at the supermarket with the nasally loud voice is driving you crazy, it's because there's a part of you that is being mirrored back by her, because she is you. And the reason it's not driving somebody crazy is because they don't have anything on it. Thing is driving because of who you are being and what is being mirrored back to you. So this is a really important thing to understand, because when you really believe it and get into it and start using your magic around it, you free yourself. Okay? And there's two ways to free yourself with this one. One is it's easier to have compassion for somebody when they're you. But really, like, when people are being total jackasses, it's because they're in pain. And they're just little bunnies who are in pain. So you can forgive that and really work on your compassion muscle with that. But also think about, what could I do? What is this person showing me about myself that is helpful and that can free me from being irritated all the time? Right? Like, what is one of the most irritating things that we love to spin out on? Usually when we break up with somebody, right? There's no end to the discussion we can have on all the many, many ways they suck. And many, many ways that they're wrong, that we are right. And we can hash that out for days and weeks and months and years. But what does that do? It just puts us in a really low frequency, makes us have no fun, closes us down from meeting anybody else, and by by the way, it attracts another person just like that. Because we are putting all of our energy and emotion into all the things we hate. So brilliant, right? So who doesn't want to be free from that? And you're going to keep recreating it because you're focused on it. Where focus goes, energy flows. So you're just going to keep creating that. So, I recently had an experience of that where I did just break up with my boyfriend, and I couldn't let it go. And here I am speaking on stage about this stuff, and I am totally guilty of doing exactly what I'm telling you not to do. And so there was one thing in particular about him that just drove me crazy. So I couldn't see it in myself. I was like, that is so not who I am. I am so not that way. This whole mirror thing kind of works, but it's totally not working in this instance, so it's not me. And I was in therapy about it, and I was just trying to be available to this thing, even though I really could not see how it was. And I cannot tell you guys, like 6 months of therapy later, bam! It totally came clear. And it was all about me as a little kid, having to act a certain way because I was scared of something. I can't, and I'm telling you, when I broke up with him, my face broke out. I really don't know people who have skin problems generally. The next day, my face started clearing up, and I stopped thinking about it once I made that revelation. So it's time, really well spent, because then you're free. So if there is something that's just spinning you out right now, like when you're alone, you're doing the dishes, you're like, right? What is that for you? What is that for you? If you want to be free, you gotta look inward and find out where it is in you that is being triggered, because that's what freedom lies, and that's what it's all about. Okay, so own your shit. So good to own it. The next thing is to invest in yourself. To make a choice to invest in yourself. And this is basically making a choice to love yourself. Okay, this is when you invest in yourself, when you're invested in yourself, you are basically signing up to think you're awesome, right? So if you invest financially in yourself, if you decide, you know what, I'm worth it, I'm going to spend money on that coaching program, I'm going to spend money on those clothes to make my body look hot, I'm going to spend money on that really good organic food, you are not only investing literally financially in yourself, you're subconsciously telling yourself that you think you are worth it. And it really, money is one of the biggest ways we do it. And I know for myself, with my own story, that was the straw that broke the camel's back, because my big issue was money back in the day. That I just could not make money. And so I had found a coach that taught people how to make money. And she was really fucking expensive. But I knew that that's what I needed. And I had no idea where I was going to get this money from. So remember, this was about the urgency for me too. I was like, I'm not available to live another day as this big fat loser who complains about money all the time. So when the student is ready, the teacher appears, right? How many times have you said to yourself you're going to do something, and all of a sudden that book pops in, or all of a sudden you find out about this new coach, or all of a sudden you find out about Beachbody? How did you guys even get into this room? It's because you were prepared and you were available, and you had made that decision that you were going to change something in your life, and all of a sudden it shows up. It's kind of freaky, right? How that works? But there are no coincidences. And so I decided this, and I put my ass on a plane and flew all across the country to go ask my father if I could borrow it, which I gotta tell you, at that time, and still, he literally told me when I was in college, I asked him if I could go to therapy, if he would help pay for some therapy, and he's like, you don't need therapy, you know what you need? A waterfall under the soil. So he has no respect for this kind of thing, certainly not coaching, which he thought was snake oil sales anyway. But he didn't necessarily believe in any of that, but he believed in me. And I believed in me enough to put myself on a plane and go ask him for this money. And I will tell you, that was one of the most terrifying things I ever did in my whole life. And I ended up making that money back to pay me back in 3 months. I tripled my income in 3 months of that. But I never would have done it if I hadn't invested in myself. You know, guys, like, I didn't believe believed it was impossible, or just taking that leap off in the darkness and scared the living crap out of myself. So is there something in your life that you know you should do that you think would just make a huge difference, but it's so freaking terrifying and set you up to look like such a crazy person, but that you know in your heart you could do, that you should? You've got to do that. It's the only way to blast out of the reality that you're in right now and go to one that you've never experienced before. I'm going to get more into that in a second. But it really is, this is what we're talking about when we say take a leap of faith. So investing in yourself financially, investing in yourself socially. Who are you hanging out with? Are you hanging out with people who inspire you, like fellow beach body coaches? Are you making friends with people who are making the kind of money you want to make? Are you hanging out with people who travel the world or sit at home and watch TV all day? Who's your significant other? Are they significant or are they significantly lame? You know? What is it that's going on with you? Pay attention. It's really important who you surround yourself with. They say if you want to see what your income is, take the average of the 5 people you hang out with most. It's real. Push yourself to meet new people if you don't have them in your life. Spiritually, are you investing in yourself spiritually? Are you meditating? Are you reading books that lift you up and make you feel like a superhero? All of these ways are really, really important. Just keep investing in yourself, reinvesting in yourself, remind yourself that you are this awesome person who is only going to be here for one very brief time on this planet, as you is you. Okay, and the last thing is to participate in natural thinking. So far we've talked about the decision, the choice to decide, and again, really good with the urgency and the tenacity involved in that. The decision and then the reconsidering your reality. Choose where you place your focus. Owning your shit. The mirror system. What are you doing from the people around you? Investing in yourself financially, spiritually, socially, mentally. And now, participating in natural thinking. So this is basically, when you're here, so you're all in a certain reality, right? Like right now, you're listening to me speak on stage. You're also sitting on a chair in Baltimore, on planet Earth, hurtling through space in a limitless universe. You can focus on that too. You'd be a very different audience. You'd be more like... So that's an option too. There's all of these options going on, but where are you placing your focus? What are you participating in? And the coolest thing, guys, so you think about this. Have you heard this one? Your thoughts create your beliefs create your words create your actions create your reality. Everybody, your thoughts create your beliefs create your words create your actions create your reality, okay? It starts with a thought. How ridiculous is that? And how powerful is that when you really think about, like, I want to go lie down for about a week when I first heard that one. It's that stupid easy, it really is just a thought. All I have to do is change my thought, and the rest of it falls in place like dominoes. It's really big, you guys. It's why we're all standing around screaming about this and writing about it. It's what are you thinking? So getting really clear on what your thought processes are is ginormous. Okay, so you're down here, and you're thinking your thoughts, and you're like, okay, I want 15 stars, or 15 stars. So how do I get this? I make 10 sales calls, and I get coaching from that other person who's doing really well, and I get 15 stars. So you're down here, you're doing the best thing you know how to do, you are doing everything you've been told to, and you've got this desire that's over here, right? You're sitting down, you're doing this, I'm going to get there. So you've never been out there before. This is a new reality that's completely going through the looking glass. So you're just going to step in and be a completely different human being once you get up there. So to get there, you do everything that you know how to do, but you're going to be doing a whole lot of stuff you've never done before to get up there because it's a different reality, right? And you're not expected to know how to do that because you've never done it before. All you can do is do what you know how to do and believe that this is possible, okay? So here's the thing. We live in a world of, I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it. So if you're waiting around to see the change and then you'll believe it, you're screwed and you are going nowhere. You have to believe it first and then you see it. That's the magical thinking I'm talking about. So even if you have no proof that this is even possible, even though Sincero had no proof that I could ever make more than $25,000 a year, I had big dreams and I could see them and I went for it in a way that scared the living crap out of me. But what is that for you? What is it that dream is, and what are you going to attach yourself to that you've never experienced before? So, the thoughts and the beliefs are basically the bridge that get you from here to here. It's your thoughts and your beliefs that build that bridge. This is the leaping into the void that we're always talking about. You know what the desire is, and you know where you are. You have no freaking idea what that bridge looks like. It's all of those thoughts and beliefs that I was just talking about. Okay? So, you've got to get really clear on what this is and how it feels. And there's two things that are really going to help you do that. One is intuition, and one is surrender. So, intuition is basically something we're not that psyched about. Because when we get intuitive, it's never something you really want to do, right? Like, my intuitive hit when I decided to make money was fly across the country and ask Dad. Hell no! Like, I would have rather taken a bullet than done that, but I got that intuitive hit. I knew exactly what my desire was, and it came out. And what happens is a lot of times we get these intuitive hits and we disregard them because it's so crazy and it's so terrifying. We don't even give it the time of day, right? But if you're serious about this, you've got to get serious as hell about that, because basically what your intuition is, it's like, you know those cups with the string that you can talk into and the person can hear? Your intuition is the voice from up here screaming in the cup telling you what to do down here. That's what that is. And so when you get really good at tuning into your intuition through meditation, through getting quiet, because the reason meditation works so well is because everything that's going on in here in our thinking brains was formed from our experience, right? And our brains are great. I don't want to knock the brain. But it really is from what's going on down here, and the intuition is coming from the whole new place up here. So when you can get quiet and just shut the hell up for a little while and listen to that intuition and get practice at it, and get practice at leaping and doing what it tells you to do, that's when you get your superhero cape on. It really is an amazing tool that our culture does not really respect. In fact, we used to burn women in the past and call them witches because they follow their intuition. And it's scary stuff because it is that powerful. So I really encourage you guys to take it super seriously and really listen to what your intuition is telling you. And it's fun, you know? And it's like, okay, I'm crazy, I'm going to go on a plane, go down that. But I felt alive. I was literally shivering and about to vomit. But I felt alive, right? So that's how you know you're on the right track. If you're scared out of your mind, feel like you're going to puke, and feel alive and you're excited. That's it. If there's somebody that you call and see if they can be on your team, if there's somebody that you get into a pit, you should go up and talk to and tell about your company, you go and do it, and the things you do it right away. Because if you hesitate, then all the fear down there will see that little crack and start to take over, and in 2 seconds you talk yourself out of it. Because there are a gazillion reasons not to do every single thing that we would love to do. That is not hard to come up with those. Right? So it's about honing your intuition, learning how to listen to it, and leaping before the gremlins take over. And just trusting and flying. Because you know, that's what this is about, right? Like, you are out there training people to be the biggest, baddest version of themselves. So you modeling that and just doing whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. And listening to that and really jumping on it and not discussing with yourself. And no negotiations. Like, I am here, I have 15 stars, it is happening. You feel it, you see it, you nurture it every day through affirmation, you hang out with people who are doing it, any single solitary thing it takes. And if getting to the top of simple, we'll all be up there. Right? And it isn't actually that it's hard, it's that it's scary. Because human beings are terrified of the unknown for some reason, which I think is hilarious because, you know, that planet that I was just talking about, zooming around in outer space, that's where we are. We literally live in the most unknown, freakazoid reality there possibly is. What are we being so precious about being secure and controlling and trying to make sure everybody likes our shoes? Who gives a crap? The universe, infinite, us, zooming. Go for it, guys. Right? Whatever it takes. And then there's this surrender piece with this. Okay? With the participating magical thinking is also the surrender. So when you're here, and you're trying to get here, you only know how to do it down here, right? So you've been existing down here, you've been thinking and doing everything you know, working your butt off, taking chances, scaring yourself, throwing up in your mouth. And then you want to go here, but there has to be a point where you surrender to the universe. Okay, this is a very yin-yang kind of thing, where you're doing everything you know how to do, and then you let back and let it come to you, because if you keep grinding away at it down here, you don't let the new opportunities in, you may not recognize it, right? Because you're operating from a reality that only sees this, and a lot of times opportunities come in very different forms than we've ever seen before in our lives. And if we don't pull ourselves out of this and surrender, we can't see them. So what does that even mean? What the hell am I talking about? It's about breathing and chilling the hell out and looking around you, giving your intuition time to hit you. So meditating is a very important part of this little surrender gap. It's a really delicate dance. You put it out there, you do every single thing you know how to do, and then you ask the universe to deliver it. Okay? So, this one time I was on a plane, and there was a kid getting on with his mom. They got on really, really late. And you know how when you're on a plane, you're all sort of a captive audience, you're literally strapped in, stuck there staring straight ahead. So these people get on late. Have you ever been late getting on a plane? That's really fun. You know, there you are, everybody's staring at you, trying to do your luggage and the thing, you're holding everybody up like a real jackass. But anyway, so this poor woman gets on really late, and she's got 2 boys with her, 2 sons, and they're like, I don't know, 9 and 11 or something. And obviously she wants to get really late too, because they're all sitting, they're not sitting next to each other, they're one in front of another in the center row. And she's been lugged up, and she's apologizing to herself, she's mortified, she's like, why sit down? I'm like, oh my god, she's trying to get up. So one little boy sits down, but the other one is just standing there, and he's like, yeah, no, I'm sitting by the window. And she's like, you are sitting your ass down right now in that middle seat, what the hell are you doing? It's like, no, I'm sitting in the window seat. And so this woman is like apologizing to everybody. Please, trying to get stuff up there, and she's bringing the neck over the boy. And, but he is just standing there, and I'm watching him, and I'm like, damn, and I'm so torn. I had a window seat, by the way. And I'm totally torn whether to, you know, get up and give a little brat a spanking, or hire him as my coach. I was like, that takes some cojones. I mean, talk about visualizing what you desire that does not only exist, but it's going to get you into a hell of a lot of trouble the second that plane hits the ground on the other side, right? Calmly standing in your power, he wasn't screaming, yelling, he wasn't having a temper tantrum, he was just holding his place. He had made his decision, he was being tenacious, he was not moving until that was happening for him. He was believing it before he saw it. He was owning his right to what he desired. He was doing it all. And what do you know? Somebody else stood up and gave them their window seat. And that's what I'd like to leave you with today, just to really honor yourself and honor your dreams at the risk of an entire plane full of adults yelling at you. Or thinking you're a big fat brat, or pissing somebody you love off. right? It's the people that we love the most that we're often in danger of freaking out the most because they see us as one way. And they worry about us, and they want us to stay the person that they love, and that, they don't want you to get hurt. But you guys, this is your one life that you get to live, and you got to do it. Whatever that desire that's coming for you is a really, really, really important thing. So, there's a saying that if you're not pissed off about all the corruption and the environmental decay, the war, and the suffering out there in the world, then you're not paying attention. But I really believe if you are not walking around in a giddy state of disbelief, that you get to be you and that everything that you desire is already here and available for you, and all you have to do is step aside and let it come to you. You're not paying attention. So thank you guys so much. This is really great. I'm so excited to finally meet you. And I think, are we doing Q&A? Is that what's happening?
So if anybody has any questions, raise your hand.